I'm excited to be here. Oh, sorry, it just told me we're recording. So I'm excited to talk about family mealtime and some family game ideas. Just a plug for USU Extension, if people don't know what USU Extension provides. So everybody knows that USU is, Utah State University up in Logan. We have a lot of, and there are different names that you're going to hear. I like to call it a regional or satellite campus. I've heard recently they're going towards a different name. That is actually not the extension. So a lot of people will think, at least out in Tooele, they'll go to the regional campus thinking that the extension office is in there. The regional campus is where people actually take college courses. The extension, it's called the cooperative extension because we work together with the counties to provide and extend free or low-cost programming to our communities. Every county in the state of Utah has an extension office. There are some smaller counties that share, but you have an ag agent, you have a family consumer science agent. We have the 4-H programs are all run through the extension office. And recently, and Create Better Health, obviously my program is through the extension. Recently, with the opioid epidemic, we've also branched out and we have community resources for recovery programs and opioid health and a lot of health programs. Create Better Health has been around as multiple different names. So we used to be considered or called Food Sense. We've moved to Create Better Health within the last 2-ish years. Recently, dates just sort of mushed together because of COVID. So what we're going to talk about today, in Create Better Health, we have lots of different program offerings. We have lessons for adults and lessons for kids. And like we said in the introduction, I do community gardening. But one of the biggest things and one of my favorite things is teaching families. So we actually have a family mealtime curriculum. And I'm actually just going to cover a couple things that we talk about in that curriculum. And we're gonna have some fun info that I think families really, when they hear some of the ideas, they aren't hard to incorporate. They don't take much money to do, but sometimes we have light bulb moments, and it's why I love the programming. So there are some very amazing benefits to family mealtime. Unfortunately, statistics show that family mealtime is going downhill drastically. In the late 90s, statistics were still a little bit higher and lovely that families were having family meals. And when we talk about family mealtime, we're not singling out dinner. We often think of dinner as family mealtime, but you need to do what works best for your family. So if you ever receive a survey or someone asks you, family mealtime doesn't have to be dinner. If it works for you to do family mealtime for breakfast, that's awesome. If you can do it at lunch, great. Summer is a great time to talk about family mealtime because we have so many people at home. Unfortunately, the number of people having 0 to 3 nights per week, and again, think of night, but it can refer to all day, 0 to 3 nights or meals per week together as a family, that statistic is rising. So we look at that statistic weirdly because we're asking about 0 to 3 meals, not more meals. So people are having a meal with their family less and less and less. And obviously people are getting more and more busy too, but there are some ways to go about that and still get the benefits. Children and families that eat together 3 or more times per week actually have developmental and protective factors that increase. The conversations at the dinner table can help expand children's vocabulary, their reading abilities. The interesting thing is the socioeconomic status of families, which that's just a really big word for how much money your family makes and where you fall culturally. Straight across the board, no matter culture or income, the more you eat together as a family, the better your child can read, the better they can talk, the less they drink, and the less they do drugs as they grow up. So it's just really interesting. Their dietary patterns can also, it takes a little longer. So 9 to 14-year-olds, they can prove that their dietary patterns are even better. They're eating more fruits. They're eating more vegetables. They're eating less fried food and they're having more vitamins. So just little tidbits of benefits. We've noticed over COVID that a lot of people have had some emotional issues. Those existed before COVID, but it's brought out some more obvious issues, or being around people has just brought them to people's attention. So actually, conversations at the dinner table can improve mental health and emotional health. It promotes self-esteem. You have less children with eating disorders. And just the structure. Your children look forward to eating together the more and more they get used to it. So beyond some of the benefits, because I know that's sort of the, okay, well, that's nice. Let's talk about how to make it work. So planning. Everything in life comes down to planning, right? We have, actually, for Zoom right now, I'm using an iPhone and my computer's in front of me so that I can reference different things. I have probably 6 different calendars on my iPhone that are all able to tell me in different colors what we're doing and when and how long the drive takes. Honestly, calendaring a family dinner night or a family breakfast night morning, or breakfast for dinner, is the simplest step to making it happen. If you have a calendar on your refrigerator or a big calendar on your wall, put a big red circle around it. And when people start asking, well, what are we doing on the red circle days? We're sitting down and we're eating breakfast together. We're sitting down and we're having dinner together. So planning. Choose a regular time that works for you. Don't do something based on what someone else tells you works for them. Involve the family in picking that date. Involve the family in picking the meal. So we're going to go into the planning aspect of meals really quick. A lot of moms, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles have looked towards apps and Pinterest, and you constantly have cool videos popping up on Facebook of neat meals to plan. Truly, and while that's fun, the best thing to do is sit down with your family and write down your favorite 14 to 30 meals. This sounds like a lot, but in one of my classes that we do during Create Family Mealtime, we all get together. We typically have 4 to 8 families in the room, including all the kids. And we all sit down and we just go around the room, and you can do this at your own dining room table with just your family. and take a sheet of paper or a calendar and go around and just say your favorite meal and start writing them down. And then you can easily plug those meals into your calendar. My husband grew up on, he told me, a weekly rotation of meals. It came out later that it might have been more like 10. His dad got home early and he would prepare the meals, and his dad made certain things that were really good. So he just did a certain number of things. So it doesn't matter who it falls on, mom, dad, whoever, and a teenager. Make sure these are meals that can easily be prepared and they go within your budget. A lot of us have devices like my iPhone, like I said. There are apps for your iPhone that you can actually, and I know this sounds silly, a lot of people have used like the random number generator to draw winners from contests and stuff. So you can actually put one of those on your phone, and you can, if you want to mix it up a little on your meal planning calendar, you can actually put your meals onto the wheel. You can do this on paper and cardboard also, and just spin the little wheel with cute kiddos. Put your favorite meals on a wheel, spin it, put it in the calendar. I would encourage you to have at least a week of meals planned out at any given time. Pick a day, plan them, and stick to them. The other thing that people need to remember is to use the things out of their pantry and their fridge and their freezer. We'll get into it a little bit more, but one of the tasks your children can do, depending on their age, is actually take an inventory of what you have and use that first. That's a huge money saving tip. When we are talking about family meal planning, we have some age appropriate chores or things that they can do. And family mealtime should be family mealtime from beginning to end. And I know as a mom, there are moments when you just want to say, no, just go away, let me make the meal. But really, and I get it, I totally do. My little dude, he's 8 now, but when he was smaller, he loved to cut stuff up with me. Start with a butter knife or start with a plastic knife. Look in the store or online, Amazon's great. I even at the extension in our big kitchen where I teach and at home, I have what people would refer to as a lettuce knife, but it's just this big, pretty, and I could have brought one in, but a big, pretty, clear plastic knife, and they don't cut kids' fingers. So after a unfortunate incident that needed stitches in my home, because I've raised girls, and my youngest at home is a boy, he cut himself. And I was like, I need to give this little dude something that's safe. So he has access to these big plastic knives that help and don't cut him, but they actually cut everything else really amazingly. So we have on our website, and I can tell you extension.usu.edu. I can show you, I know it's going to show silly, but you can totally go on the website. This is like a list of chores that are appropriate. You'd be surprised how little kiddos will be when they can start wiping up messes or wipe a counter. So like 2 and 3-year-olds can wipe down counters or wipe down the table. 4 to 6-year-olds. And this builds. So obviously they can do anything from before, and then you get more and more. This is just a basic general chore, but they can feed pets. Kids need that opportunity to understand that if they need to eat, their pet needs to eat. So learning that responsibility early is great. They can help set the table. They can help clean the table. They can help put away groceries. They can empty trash. As they get a little older, 7 to 10-ish, again, everything before, sweeping, vacuuming, taking out the trash. They can help with meal prep. 11 plus, and I'd even say 10-ish, starting dishes, unloading the dishwasher and putting them away, taking the trash cans out to the curb on a specific day, mopping floors, cleaning out the fridge, inventory, which we'll talk about in a second, and they can even lead a family game during dinner. I'll go back to cleaning out the fridge really quick. So when we clean out the fridge in my house, we have a note on our fridge, and it's from the fridge to my kids, and it says, "Please clean me out every Monday. Thanks, the fridge." Food goes bad, and one of the things we teach at the extension is health and safety. And so we teach that your food is only good for so long. And a lot of people will push the issue. And a lot of people have experienced the stomach flu or food poisoning, and it's not pleasant. So if you have a weekly reminder to clean out your refrigerator and get rid of your leftovers that are still in there because you didn't eat them, that's super good for you and for your fridge. We don't want our refrigerators and freezers too packed full, or they don't work at their best ability. And you can work using leftovers into your meals also. I would encourage that you include all family members. So even dad, if mom and dad, if there is a mom and dad, dad isn't off doing something else, really focus and try and start with once a week. Try and focus on making family mealtime involve everyone. And when we teach family mealtime, just an FYI, I don't just mean moms and dads and kids. I know there's all sorts of different living arrangements, and even empty nesters, they're still a family. So just grandma and grandpa, that's family. And I know sometimes my mother-in-law says, yeah, we're really good about eating together. Well, it gets easier. So they've got that advantage. Family mealtime, turn off the TV. Try, and I know my kids range in some pretty crazy ages, try to have at least once a week a dedicated meal where there's no electronics present. So not just your TVs off, but no cell phones, no nothing, just put them away. I know a lot of people have suggested like, oh, have a cell phone box. Sure, if that works for you. But just try. Once you can successfully do it for one meal, then you can move on and do two. We set our goals simple and make ourselves feel like it's achievable, and then move on to bigger goals. Eating at the table is really important. I know in the 70s and 80s, TV dinners were all the rage. And that's why they made TV trays for dinner to eat in front of your couch, but really, really try and gather around a table. Keep the conversation pleasant. If you know there is a topic of conversation that will cause some issues, just don't bring it up at the dinner table. Make that conversation nice so that when you announce, hey, it's family dinner night, the kids are like, oh my gosh, we're going to talk about grades again. No, make it fun. Don't talk about grades. Don't talk about whatever. Be flexible. So we all understand that families are crazy. So try and be flexible. If you know that so-and-so works on a certain night, either do family dinner without them because that's still the rest of your family, or move family dinner. And also try and do it multiple times so everybody rotates in if you have an older family like I do. Try family mealtime for breakfast or lunch. And when we say around a table, maybe it's a picnic table. Make sandwiches, grab some drinks on the way and go up a canyon and have a picnic. Go on a short little hike and bring everything out of the backpack. It doesn't have to be dinner. It can be breakfast or lunch. Or like I said earlier, it can be breakfast for dinner. One of our favorite family meals is breakfast for dinner. And for some odd reason, I can get my kids to help make pancakes and waffles and eggs so much easier than anything else. Avoid arguing and avoid implementing discipline during family dinner, even the process of making dinner. Just the best you can be to make the atmosphere happy and that you're just together and enjoyable, whatever you can do. As a mom who is slightly OCD, and I think most of us are, I know that list of chores is daunting. Oh, well, what if so-and-so doesn't wipe down the table? Great. Or what if when they make the table, they put the fork on the wrong side? Who cares? And it takes us a while. I totally get it. Don't force your kiddos to try something new or finish what's on their plate. Again, that's the contention. So if you can start by having just this amazing, pleasant environment for the first few family dinners, it'll really get the kids back and into having it more often. And then again, do what works best for your family. I know my husband for probably 15 years worked nights. So he was getting up in the late afternoon and getting in a vehicle and commuting and going to work and gone for, between the commute and work, 14 and a half hours. If mom is a nurse and works, crazy, like 3 on 4 off or 4 on 3 off, obviously you want to try and focus around those parents and work schedules, etc. Sports. I know when my little dude plays football, we are crazy. Go, 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 go. So even packing a sacked lunch for the whole family is a great opportunity. After football games, we have actually sat in our car, doors open, on a chunk of lawn in a school parking lot, and we have sat and just had a picnic in a parking lot. It still counts. So just do what works for you. Again, if this is a new concept, just build up to it. Start small, eat 1 or 2 meals together, then build up from there, and let it work for a while before you build up. Family mealtime is so inclusive. We're going to go into some of the games and fun stuff you can do during family mealtime that would help create that fun, loving atmosphere. And so sometimes you're like, okay, I've heard you say, be nice, don't discipline. try to not be too controlling, give them a task, like, okay, but give me something else that, like, when it's all said and done, we can do. So we wanted to talk a little bit about family game night, but I'm going to integrate that into family dinner time. So one of the things that we teach, and I have, and you can print it, and I'll actually tell you my email at the end, and everybody who wants to can email me and I will send you. I have a cookbook for everyone and I have a game for everyone. So anyone who watches this, even later, not live, you can totally email me and I have some cool stuff to send out. I would encourage everyone, because I share some really fun tips and recipes on Facebook and Instagram, to follow. Not only, so my Facebook page is Create Better Health Tooele County. But if you go on Facebook, and I know we're Utah wide, right? So there is a Create Better Health program in every county in Utah. So if you're in Weber County, you have Create Better Health Weber County. If you're in Cache County, you have Create Better Health Cache County. You have an extension office, and you should have a Create Better Health ambassador or nutrition educator in each county that you can reach out to. But for your free cool stuff, I'm going to send it to everybody, no matter where. So conversation cards, these, I know a lot of people are like, okay. Now you can buy them on Amazon. We have ones that I'm gonna get really close again. You can just print them out. And they have some fun questions. What's your favorite outside activity? And like, we like to draw them. We have a mason jar and we keep them in a mason jar and we'll shake them up and we'll have a kiddo pull one out and they'll ask everybody at the table the same question. So, Dad, what's your favorite outdoor activity? And he'll share, and you just go around the table and share.
Sarah?
Yeah.
We have a comment.
Okay.
Shirley, you have your hand up?
Yes. So I just wanted to say, so we actually have an adventure that incorporates the chit chat games and gives ideas. This is as part of the Discovery Family Program. And we actually update that every month with kind of seasonal appropriate questions to ask. So we have that at discoveryfamilyadventures.com. If anyone wants to enjoy that, we add questions, and of course you can come up with your own questions as well. And I'm excited to see yours as well, Sarah. So
yeah, and one of the things I can tell you also, it doesn't have anything to do with dinner time, although some of the tasks pertain to at home. So in addition to conversation cards or chit chat questions, we have, and it's, so Create Better Health Utah, they actually release it as like a meme or a photo infographic, but we have it printable. It's a ideas for the month, and it's so cool because it's totally seasonally based. So when apples are in season, it encourages you to like try a different apple with your family, or go stomp in leaves, or go stomp in mud puddles. So we love seasonal stuff too. So seasonal questions are great. So I'm talking to my phone and it's weird because I can't see any of you right now because I pulled up the chat. Catherine asked, how do you suggest keeping kids at the table? By the time everyone's served and parents begin to eat, within minutes, it seems we have kids trying to run off to play. So this is where you just have to build up to it. And I'm gonna close this so I can at least look like I'm talking to someone again. This is where you just have to build up to it. You have to make it a goal to train your kids to sit there. You have to, like, if you have a conversation and they get used to sitting and eating and having a conversation, then they know that's what they're doing right then. And it's going to start small. I would also suggest, and it really depends on the age of the kids. So you can serve dinner differently. You can put dinner in the center of the table, or you can keep dinner over on the stove and the counter. You can serve up all the plates, and then everybody comes and gets a plate and goes to the table at the same time. But as they build up, so make it a goal. Just like, don't let them run off. Tell them. And I know, like we say, well, don't try and discipline them, but say, okay, tonight we want to sit here and we're going to talk for a few minutes. Or, hey guys, tonight during dinner, while we're eating, we're going to play a game. A lot of kids, if you say you're going to play a game, but then you have this conversation, it totally works. The word game, albeit a little deceptive sometimes, kids are like, ooh, a game. Okay. And they'll sit there a little longer. I know what I'm going to show you is giant, and I don't expect everyone to have access to these, but we have, for teaching, we have these cubes, or the dice, and these have pockets, and you can slip something into these pockets. I use these for so many different lessons, but they make ones, they have them at the dollar store, and they're smaller, and they have dry erase marker that you can write on them with. And you can write questions, or you can write tasks, or if we're not talking about the dinner table, you can write exercises that the kids love to do, like jumping jacks, or name your favorite fruit, or different stuff. I use these a lot. But at the dinner table, if you were to go to the dollar store and buy the small one, you could do some questions on there, and by having it be interactive with the kids, okay, roll the dice instead of draw the stupid piece of paper out of the mason jar. It's just different. Like, so it really depends on your family's dynamics and what their ages are and what they're ready for. So conversation cards, and one of these, I'll tell you one that could be negative, but it can actually lead. What's your favorite vegetable? What's your least favorite vegetable? Well, if you go around the table and everyone says they hate peas, then why would you ever serve peas anymore? Like, you have so many different green vegetables to choose from. If all of your kids hate peas, I can understand trying to get them to eat them occasionally. But if they all hate peas, then just stop using peas, but so like you can use some of these questions to your advantage. What's the best book you've ever read for school? What do you think phones will be like in 10 years? I think if I was asked that as a kid, I never would have suspected what iPhones could do, or that iPads even existed. Table manners. Table manners are something to work on at the table. If there's anyone here that has ever gone out to eat at a restaurant or gone to a family member's house and they've been completely embarrassed of their child's actions, this little section is for you. So we encourage, again, talk about things that are pleasant and cheerful. No one really likes mealtime to be depressing or upsetting. Having someone run away from the table crying is not the best for not only the family environment, but your digestion. But we encourage you to start your children young, learning about some of these etiquette or manners. Elbows on the table. Elbows shouldn't be on the table. If you put your elbows on the table, you're sort of like closing people off. You can't see, they can't look. Sitting up straight. We don't like lay down while we're eating, we don't put our feet on the table while we're eating. Like I said, my older kiddos are girls. I've dealt with a lot of drama. You will survive. They will too. But the dining room table isn't the place for drama. If you need to blow your nose or pass gas, we ask that you get up from the table and excuse yourself and you go to the restroom. Leaving electronics away from the table if possible. I totally understand if mom or dad are on call for emergencies. That's fine. But if there's any way to at least silence the phone, that's super helpful. I think the two worst places to have a conversation on your phone are the bathroom and while you're eating. Not only is it disrespectful to the people around you and gross, but the person you're talking to, like if you've ever heard someone talking in a bathroom or while they're eating next to you somewhere, you're like, I really don't like having someone chew in my ear. I think it's gross. So this one is a hard one for kids sometimes, but you don't criticize the food. You don't criticize how it was prepared. You don't say, well, I don't eat that, or, oh, that's gross. You politely eat it. And of course there's allergy reasons for not eating something. That's totally acceptable, but you have to learn how to speak to someone especially if you're not at home. I'm sorry, Mrs. So-and-so, or I'm sorry, Max's mom, or I'm sorry, whoever, but I'm actually allergic to this. Is that okay? Like we think that's appropriate, right? When napkins are provided, they're to be placed on your lap when the meal begins. We'll actually talk about napkins in a minute. You don't play with your utensils. I know kids in school like to use pens and pencils or crayons as drumsticks. But at the dinner table, we don't play drums with our fork and our knife. We don't hit our sibling over the head. So we want them to learn that how utensils are properly used. Honestly, I gave a little boy, and actually I shouldn't say little, I think he's 12. I taught a young man how to use a sharp knife the other day. And it was just interesting to me that he had no concept of how to hold a knife. How to hold your fork and how to turn it around and cut against the back of your knife, and then how you change hands and you eat with the other, you flip your fork around and you eat with your fork and you set your knife down. These are concepts that children are losing entirely. And it really is the parents' responsibility to teach some of them. Eat small bites, chew with your mouth closed. This, I'm not going to go over all of them, you guys, but this is available through USU Extension again. Don't feel like you need to, like I said, don't make this a horrible environment. You might just want to say, okay, we're going to learn about one thing today and then move on to something fun. I know I said we're going to talk about some games. One of the things that I think is fun, and of course I'm an adult and I went to culinary school and I worked in a restaurant, and yeah, I love folding napkins. And one of the things my kids have learned that's fun is how to fold napkins into different shapes. I would encourage you, I know it sounds silly, but one of the aspects of getting the kids to do things when you're like, okay, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. what should you do? You know what? Let them play with the napkins. Let them see if they can come up with something new. Pull up Pinterest and show them 3 or 4 different napkin folds. It's so much fun. And I know that sounds silly, but folding napkins and trying to make them into a shape can be really fun. I saw a question or a comment. I'm going to look really quick. Yes, exactly. So when they think they're done. So as long as you don't wait until the end of the meal to lead a game, as long as there's something constantly going on, the meal isn't done. That's exactly it. So like I said, I would encourage you to try and serve everybody right at the same time. And then while you're eating, move into the game. And I know that the no talking with your mouth full thing can be an issue, but then just watch who's taking bites of what. Ask in between bites. Okay, Bella, we're going to ask you, when you're done with that next bite, can you tell me what your favorite sport is? And so it leads to that. Trying to think. So one of our curriculums, well, actually 2 of our curriculums. So we offer a food, fun, and reading curriculum, and we have a food, fun, and actually, I'll be honest, the name of this curriculum hasn't been set in stone yet, but it's going to be food, fun, and cultural-ish. They haven't decided on the name. So we write curriculum all the time it goes through a huge process, and they still haven't settled on the name. But we know that these books have lessons in them about certain foods. And I would encourage you to look at some of the books you have around the house and possibly integrate them into your meals. So there's amazing cultural books, and there's amazing just food-based books. And I'm going to lean over for a second and grab one. So growing up, and this one's giant because I read it in classrooms, so it's huge. I think everyone knows this book. It's not going to look like the one we all grew up with, but this is The Little Red Hen. So I think everyone grew up with The Little Red Hen as a golden book. So it's just huge, right? So let's go here. So The Little Red Hen, when I read The Little Red Hen to classes, and obviously it's huge, The Little Red Hen is talking about whole grains. And The Little Red Hen is talking about baking. And The Little Red Hen is talking about how we all work together. And so just realize what books you might have around the house that you could sort of read with your kids. Not every night, not at every meal, but maybe if you are a family that likes to eat dinner, do something, and then get ready for bed, a book at the dinner table is actually a really great place where you're all together, and then go into your next activity, like getting ready for bed. You don't need to spend a lot of money. Like I said, The Little Red Hen or books that you might have on hand, they might talk about something food related or family related. And then you can integrate that. Homemade bananagrams. So they're like Scrabble tiles. You're not on a board or anything. It's just a bag of tiles. You can put that in the middle of your table, and you can start with a cup of one word. You can start with your last name, and then you can go around the table and try to build off of that word just with a pile of Scrabble tiles. Famous person. So everyone's probably played this at some sort of activity, but put a sticker. I know when we're walking around to play this game, we put it on our backs, but if you're playing it at the dinner table, and it can get a little silly, but put a sticker on your forehead of a famous person. You don't have to, if it's little kids, you don't have to play it. Well, you want them to be able to read it, obviously, but you can do colors, you can do fruits and vegetables, you can do lots of things. But the sticker on the forehead and you're trying to guess who or what you are. Yes, a picture works great too. I'm trying to think. Telephone is the funniest, most least successful game we can ever play, most likely. Because if you're whispering it quiet enough to your neighbor for someone across the table to not hear, it pretty much gets messed up immediately. But telephone is fun at the dinner table. Guess who? You can not actually the flippy game Guess Who, but you can ask everyone to describe themselves in 3 words or their favorite things, and then you turn them all into mom or dad or whoever. You mix them all up, they read the information, and everybody guesses who at the table. And then other things like, I'm trying to think, the name of this game is Great Minds Think Alike. So you come up with categories. You talk about things like, it's sort of like categories, but you can search for Great Minds Think Alike online and you'll find the game. The last things I wanted to mention before I finish are, if you decide to do a game night that isn't inclusive of your dinner, so an actual just like, okay, this night we're gonna order pizza and play games. Your games don't have to be expensive. You can borrow them from friends. Sorry, the helicopter just went over my house. I couldn't hear. Actually, the best way to find out if you like a game is actually to borrow games from your friends, in my opinion, or do multiple families together for a game night. And if you, I love it, you can win games on my Discovery Destination. But yeah, you don't have to spend a lot on games. You can come up with such fun stuff. I know a lot of families love like minute to win it games. My only other suggestion for game nights, if you're gonna do it not inclusive of a meal, is to do healthy snacks, like fruits and veggies and maybe some crackers and meat, or try to emphasize like healthy water. So you can do flavored waters that kids are totally into. Make a big couple gallon jug of like strawberry lemon water or mint water. But just to sort of emphasize that healthy aspect during game night, not that game night is always based around junk food. It's really helpful to instill that when they're young, and then when they grow up, they don't think that it means, oh, we're going to eat buckets of popcorn and soda all night. So that would be my little last plug for healthy stuff. And then I know someone said they needed to chat at the end. So that is basically it. Just a reminder that you can email me. So if you are online right now or you watch this later, my email is Sarah with an H, SARAH .Patino, PATINO @usu.edu. And if you send me your name and address, I will send you a cookbook and a family-friendly game that we have. And then beyond that, again, look on Facebook and Instagram for your local extension office and Create Better Health program. So like mine is Create Better Health Tooele County, and every other county is going to be Create Better Health, whatever. Melissa, I will actually type it into the chat while they talk about their last little bit of info, and then everyone will have it, if that's okay.
Yes, I was actually going to ask him to be sure to type that in. So if you do it, it's even better.
I was just getting ready to type it, but Sarah, go. All right, Shirley, you said you wanted to share stuff.
Yes, Sarah, that was the perfect segue into what I wanted to share when you were talking about the healthy stuff, because we have a super fun announcement. Oh, and I just realized I didn't turn my camera on. Sorry, guys, but that's okay. I've already shared this. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So I'm not going to go back and turn my camera on, but we have a really fun surprise to go with today's parent conversations. We have a new adventure. Let me get down here. It is all about frozen fun. And this, so I want you guys to look carefully at these recipes because it looks like ice cream, but you know what? Most of these are not really ice cream. They're very, very healthy. So anyway, we have a new adventure just for today. And if you go in, we have a fun recipe book. So it's a frozen fun recipe booklet. You can see kind of a sample of it here. I'll actually click on it in a minute and show you the full thing. But see, again, you have, so like this gluten-free, dairy-free cookie dough milkshakes. It sounds really unhealthy, but it's totally healthy. It's banana, almond milk, the cookie dough bites. You look at this there. I mean, oatmeal's okay. Chocolate chips, yum. You got to have that. So anyway, these are really very healthy desserts and fun things for the kids to help you with. Another thing that's really fun about this is, I mean, as always, my Discovery Destination is all about building resilient families. So going along with, with the different recipes, we also have some prevention tips. Okay, so for example, the time, what's the rush? The point of these recipes is family bonding. So don't rush the process. With these recipes, you want it to take as long as possible so that you have that time to really enjoy with the kids and have that bonding experience. Let's go down here. We've got some different prevention tips that go with each of the recipes. Pre-K, these are perfect for little ones. Little ones love getting involved, and every recipe has something that the little ones can be involved with. And for the community engagement, okay, I want to hear your summer meals because we are putting together for July. We will have another recipe book for you that will include kind of the fun summer meals. So I want to know what your favorites are. So again, if you go in, well, I'll just go ahead and click on this now. And we have a baker's dozen. Okay, so there are some really fun meals. Frogan yogurt trail, the yogurt popsicles with berries and chia, super yummy. Strawberry sorbet with mint. The icebox sandwiches. And again, keep in mind, these are not necessarily ice cream. Okay, they're made with a lot of them use the vanilla pudding. There is one here. I can't see this one because the thing's in the way, but this looks so good. And this actually is kind of the regular ice cream that you make in a kind of your homemade ice cream. There's a big giant peanut butter ice cream sandwich cake. So anyway, lots of fun recipes, funfetti frozen popsicles, the shark bait ice cream floats. And again, as important as anything is the messaging and the prevention messaging that goes along with it. So this is available for you in your, it will be, so it's already on your web hub. It will be added to your app hub shortly. The community coordinators have not had access to it yet, so they'll get that added to the app hub if that's the one that you're using. But anyway, this is our gift to you for being here at Parent Conversations today, and please feel free to share with everyone. So I'll turn it back to you, Kim.
All right. Well, thanks again, Sarah and Shirley, for that. My kids are always looking for fun things to do. I just have to say a couple things on Sarah when she talked about using what's in your fridge and freezer. So we've been cleaning out our freezer, and everything we eat out of our freezer because I'm trying to clean them out. So it really is a good way to plan meals. I just find one random thing and then plan my meal around that. Just a reminder, starting July 5th, we'll have a new Zoom link that we'll have all over Facebook and everywhere, so everybody will know. Next week, I have a guest speaker, but she hasn't quite decided what she's going to be speaking on. So look for that. We'll be announcing that tomorrow. And thank you all for being here. And we'll be here next Monday at 1 o'clock.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much, Sarah, for being here.
I have a question real quick.
Yes.